Everyone, it's Ronald Nordo, and today I'm going to be doing a rebuild of a Vivi Nova tank. I was talking to some people on Facebook and they asked me to do a quick video. I know there's a lot of videos out there, this just happens to be the way that I do it. Okay, so here's my Vivi Nova with already a wick in there, wick and wire and head in there. I'm going to just open it up. Take the tip off, which is the little grommet piece. And now I'm just gonna, the heads are interchangeable. You could buy pre-made heads. I happen to just make them myself. Alright, so now I have this piece, and I have the head unit here, which I just dropped. Okay, here's my head unit. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull out the wick and wire. Just comes right out, and I'm going to throw that away. That's the old stuff. So now I'm left with just the head. Now there's a pin, then there's a little washer, and then the head unit. What you want to do is just kind of get your fingernail under the pin and just try to pull it out. And it comes out, usually it comes out with, if you can see it, with the washer. And they separate. You're going to want to separate them as well. Usually easier than this. Alright, so now I have my pin, my washer I'm going to place down here, my head unit, the base, the glass, the top. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to show you how I rebuild the head. I'll be right back. I want to reposition the camera, so hang out. Okay, I am back here, and I have some silica wick here that I've been using. So I'm going to cut off, I like to double it when I do it here, when I rewire and re-wick it. So that's probably about the length I'm going to need, so I'm just going to cut that off. Then I have some Kanthal A1 wire here. I want to go a little long on the wire, probably about 5 inches, so I have enough to double up on those legs that I was, and I'll show you what I mean in a bit. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double my wick. I'm going to put it against a paper clip that I straightened out just to give it some stability and also make sure I don't wrap too tight. Now I have to pick up my Kanthal wire, which is easier said than done. It's a little hard to see, I know. Now, I found that doubling up on the legs of the Kanthal wire really helps, but I like to do it after I make my coil, not before. So you want to give yourself, if you look, here's the end of my Kanthal. I'm starting all the way up here so that I can double those legs up. So I'm leaving like a good amount underneath, if you can see that much. Alright. It's difficult under this camera. Never did a video with my hands before. Alright, so, can you see? Maybe. Let me go down a little, maybe that'll help. Alright, I'm going to do my wraps here. I'm going to do about 4 wraps. You want to make them not too tight and pretty close together, but make sure the wraps are not touching one another. Alright, so I did 4 wraps. Just going to straighten out the legs a bit. Alright, now I'm going to slide out the paper clip. And I have my coil and wraps, if you can see. I know it's not the easiest. But now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of the legs, or the ends, and I'm going to fold them towards the coil. Not all the way. I don't want it touching the coil. And I'm going to fold it. so it's doubled up. The legs are double. Then I'm going to take the other one and do the same. Right towards it. And then I'm going to let you see it a little better because I know I'm out of camera. Alright, so if you see, I have my coil. These are doubled up. And then I'm going to twist them closed. I'm going to do it off camera just because you're going to see me fiddling around. I'm just going to twist them like a twist tie. And I'll be right back. Okay, here I am back, and let me show you what I did. Alright, so I have my coil. I have my legs wrapped together. Remember how I doubled them up? Well, now they're all wrapped nice and tight. Hopefully you could see that there. I got the two legs double wrapped. Okay, now what I'm going to do is put it back into the head. So I have just that head piece. You want to put it in. You want to put the legs in the end with the slots because that's where it's going to sit like it was before. So make sure you get both of these through the hole in the head. Please no comments about hole in the head. Alright, what you want to do is make sure it's nice and centered, you can see. Alright, now you're going to grab that rubber little washer that we took out earlier. And you are going to take one of the legs and thread it through the center. Only one. And pop it back in. What I like to do here is I like to tighten it a little bit. So I hold the washer in place and just pull on the legs a tiny bit. You want to make sure right here that one of the legs is going through the center of that washer and the other is on the outside of the washer, touching basically the threads of the head. And that's exactly what I have here. Now you're going to grab the pin that was out earlier, and you're just going to place it in the center. Nothing gets threaded through the head. Sorry for singing. Alright, so here we have it. It's rebuilt. What I do is you could use scissors, or you could just twist off the ends this way. You got to get them off. If you just twist it a little, it should come right off. Usually it's easier than that. Alright, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim my wicks to the length I want them. I like my wicks a little long. I obviously use too much wick on this one, but that's fine. I'd rather have too much than too little. And here we go. I'm going to place that little grommet thing back on the top of it that was on there. Twist it back on. Place it back on. Some people will burn their wick and wire a little bit. I haven't noticed any taste or anything, so I'm not doing that this time. Sometimes I do it. Sorry. I'm like a 2-year-old. And real quick, I am going to pause, and then I'm going to measure the ohms on this, because it should be around 2 to 2.2, I hope, is what I was looking for. I did about 4 wraps. This is 32 gauge Canthal A1, so we'll test it out. Hang on, then I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I'm going to turn my multimeter on to ohms. I just want to test it real quick. First, I just want to test the resistance in my leads here. It's usually about 0.2. Getting a lot of interference. 0.2. Alright, now what did I do with it? Alright, so I have my rebuilt tank. I'm going to do it off camera. It's just easier. I'm putting my positive into the post. my negative lead onto the threads. And I'm a little low. I'm at like 2.0, but then if I take off the 0.2, I'm at like 1.8 on here. Getting a lot of interference. It might be my camera. My camera might be messing with it. 1.9 it's measuring. So I'm probably at like 1.7, pretty low resistance. I don't know why it went so low. Not the biggest deal in the world. I like low, so... Alright, I'm going to reposition again and be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and we measured it. It measured at like 1.7 after I subtracted the resistance in my wires. Not a big deal. A little low. Alright, I'm going to fill this up with my favorite juice, which happens to be one I make. Watermelon menthol. Fill it up, if you don't know, you don't want to go too high, you don't want to go above the that washer in there. I actually don't go nearly that high. If you could see my line, that's like right there. I'm also going to put one drop right on it, right on the head. Only that way I'm not going to burn anything if I don't get it nice and saturated. Alright, I'm going to screw it back on. Alright, we should be good to go. I'm going to just put it upside down, let it soak a little bit. Some people wait 5-10 minutes. I don't have patience. Alright, that's good. Just putting it on my mini lava tube here. It's set at 3.7. Let's see what happens. First hit, you saw how quick that was. Monstrous. Taste was excellent. Vapor production, throat hit. So, perfect. That's how I do it. There's many different ways out there. I watched a lot of the other videos and I took little things from each of them. When I first started doing it, I wasn't doubling up them legs, and I was just using single strands without any kind of non-resistance wire, which you could use non-resistance wire too to take the heat off of the legs. But and I was getting kind of a burnt taste. It tasted like burning. I was also getting higher measurements. I don't know if that has anything to do with it on the ohms rating. But usually my ohms end up around 2.2 when I do 4 wraps with the 32. But the last couple times it's been coming a little low. I don't know. Maybe it's my multimeter too. But taste-wise, I keep it on 3.7 anywhere around there, and I'm pretty good. I'll adjust it accordingly. But like I said, that leg fix really seemed to make my coils a lot better. They last longer. I'm getting like 2 weeks out of each time I use them. And then it's so cheap, I just throw them out and redo it. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I hope that helps.